Welcome to Fat Mouth Sports Gathering of Old Men podcast. Today we got some hot topics. I guess, I don't know if we can start off with the heavyweight fight that me and Theo had over a certain Heinz Ward being a Hall of Famer. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I guess I'll let that go for right now. We'll start with the rundown.
Man, we heard what you said. Let me do this because we got fans from both of them, WGTB and Fat Mouth Sports. This your man with Troy, Marlo. Marlo ain't say nothing. Marlo just low key in the background. Marlo like I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. No, Marlo, you gotta say something to the people.
I wasn't involved in that conversation they had, so Heinz Ward haters, I ain't got no ammo for you. Heinz Ward appreciators, I ain't got no ammo for you. But what I can say is, he did it for a long time and did a lot of things that a lot of other receivers, even today, will not do. Let's go across that middle. So, kudos to him if he do get in. I don't know if he got in or not yet, but we'll see. I think we're old baby again before him.
Very well said. I like that. See that? And I ain't even talked to him, Troy. I ain't even talked to him. Me and Marlo haven't even talked about this. But we gonna move right along. Go ahead. What's the first topic for today?
So, one of my favorite all-time coaches, June Jones, said this week that Johnny Manziel could be the best CFL quarterback ever.
What's the next topic for today?
Fans that don't.
What's the next topic for today?
Fans that don't follow. If you don't follow if you don't follow CFL, you don't know about Warren Moon.
Well, you know that's
you don't know about David Allen.
Well, you know that's a lot of the new generation of sports fans these days. You know they don't know what Tom Frazier. They didn't even know Scott Frost played strong safety for the New York Jets. So and used to be the quarterback at Nebraska. All they know is Central Florida. So that's not surprising. That's not surprising. So I mean.
And this is the coach that when I was in high school, I just don't follow his system.
But wait a minute.
I follow this man. And he said, and I want everybody to understand, in the CFL, you throw the football a lot. Yeah. You throw the football a lot. And he cannot make throws, CFL throws. He just can't.
Well, hold on. So that's why I said, what's the next topic? Why we talking about June Jones? All things said is a good guy, great coach. He did great things. He did some good things while he was in the NFL. He did some good things over there with the University of Hawaii. I'm pretty sure he's doing good things over there with Southern Methodist University and everything like that. But why? I mean, with June Jones and Johnny Manziel, that should be enough for us to just move on to the next topic. Like, for real, June Jones.
I think he might have been a little catnip.
I mean, seriously, like we could put some more time on another topic. June Jones talking about Johnny Manziel to be a great Canadian football. Yeah, okay. Next topic.
We gotta expand our demographic.
I'm just saying, but why though? Why? You ain't say Warren Moon was saying that Vince Young was gonna be a great Canadian football quarterback. We would have gave some credence to that. Warren Moon played in the National Football League, played in the Canadian Football League. Prolific college quarterback when he was over there at Washington. Vince Young, we know him we would have got that because some of us still don't know why Vince Young is not at least a backup in the National Football League. But I digress. We would have got that, but me and Marlon, listen, man, we can talk about something else. June Jones and Johnny Manziel in the same sentence.
He must have been hanging out the day before he
we're not finna do that. What's the next topic, Troy?
All right, so this week the Lakers played Philadelphia. They played the process, and it was a very good back and forth game.
Right.
And the game came down to a last second shot by Brandon Ingram, and Brandon Ingram knocked down a three.
Right.
However, this is how the sequence unfolds. The offensive possession before the final possession. Lonzo Ball had the ball to take a three. He opened three because nobody's playing up on him. And he took three and he missed. They get the ball back, they come back down. Brandon Ingram passes the ball to Lonzo Ball in the corner.
Right.
There was not enough time for anybody to close out on him. He made the, and I'm air quoting here, the LeBron play. Dribble drive towards the rim. And pass shot to Brandon Ingram. And Brandon Ingram knocked down the shot, they win the game. But if you look at the highlight video shows Lonzo Ball look at that shot like, not today. Pass up on the shot, dribble drive, made a great basketball play, all is said and done. Now, I am a NBA basketball purist. If you say you're the man, you gotta take the man shot. I think that's where the problem lies. I don't never recall Alonzo saying he was the man.
There you go.
It's always been his daddy.
The man ain't never saying he was the man.
His draft status.
No.
Saying for the last 3 years,
we have
underperformed.
Listen. I'm like Marlo. That man never said he was that dude. His dad said he was that dude. His dad said he was that dude even before he got drafted. He never said he was that dude. He ain't even acted like he that dude.
If you saw the game, I watched that game. I did. I watched that game. Did you see who were the ones controlling the game for Los Angeles? Yeah. It wasn't Alonzo Ball. No. I know. Okay. His numbers are horrific coming from an offensive standpoint.
So
however, he is a rookie who's in the top 5 in the split.
Hold on, Troy.
I'm gonna give him some credit.
Hold on, Troy. Let me ask you a question. Hold on, Troy. Let me ask you a question because when we started this segment off, you talking about Alonzo Ball, him supposedly being the man and everything like that. Here's my question to you: is that if I recognize part of being the man, since you say his draft status makes him the man, is knowing your strengths and your weaknesses. We don't want to give a young man credit for recognizing the fact that, you know what, my shot is not where I would like it to be. My shot is not conducive to the team winning games. I just took a three and missed it. Let me pass it to somebody else. That's still being in the moment. Because Tom Brady ain't the one catching passes. He's the one throwing them, a la assisting. So we don't want to give Lonzo credit for being the man in that situation and making the right call?
So I'm gonna give everybody the history so they understand why I think the way I think. We're gonna stay with the same franchise. Los Angeles Lakers. Magic Johnson. Beautiful opportunity. Beautiful opportunity.
This not Magic Johnson. This is not Magic Johnson. This is not Magic Johnson. Don't do that. This is not Irvin Johnson. No, you can't have that. No, we're not gonna let you finish that. Cause you finna draw a comparison. You have no business comparing. No. No.
Let me finish.
No.
Let me finish. Let me finish. You making an assumption before you let me finish.
Then why did you bring up Magic Johnson?
If you don't let me finish, I'll explain it. Magic Johnson, instead of taking the shot, passed up on the shot, tried to pass it to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. They ran out of time. Next time Magic was in that situation, was the Magic baby hook. Why did Magic take that baby hook? Because Magic said to himself, I know what happened last time. I'm not passing it up this time. Now, Lonzo Ball has just had that exact same moment. I'm not comparing him to Magic Johnson. It is a reference that people know, can visualize, can go up on YouTube and see, hey, yeah, that did happen. Now, the rule in basketball is, every time you pass up on a bad shot, Theo, we play basketball together, bad things happen. Right or wrong?
Because I shot like Alonzo Ball.
Pass up on a bad shot.
Because I shot like Alonzo Ball. That's why. Don't pass me the ball. Unless I'm up under the rim. Don't pass me the ball. I'm telling you what I know. I'm being honest. Don't pass me out.
Look, the rules back. Listen, I've had little teams you've seen coaches saying you watch NBA players get more ready because they pass up on a shot, an open shot.
You know what? Hold on. I think we can sum this up like this. I'm not finna be mad at the dude who can't shoot for passing the ball to somebody that can shoot. I'm not finna be mad at that dude. Now, I'll be mad at him if the dude that can't shoot pull up from well beyond the arc and takes a shot. Even if he make it. Because I'm going to be like, that's not your shot. That's not your shot. And you know, everybody know that's not your shot. What you doing? Oh, that's not your shot. No, man. Lonzo made a... You know what? If we want to talk about anything as far as what could be a detriment to Alonzo Ball besides his shooting form, let's talk about his dad. Let's talk about his dad. Now, I'm going to say it. I wrote a...
That's great. I think we can transition this into what the Haiti segment part of this show is. How the hell you gonna take both your kids out of school and get them agents when they're not even being evaluated as a top pick in the NBA draft?
Watch this, Marlo. Watch this.
Taking them out of school so they can play in the G League?
What, Marlo? Watch this.
No. They're not playing in the G League. They're playing either in Europe or China.
Right.
This is my favorite part.
Right. What?
Who's probably a $120 soaking wet is going to be playing with grown men.
Grown men.
Yeah. Now, that's not unusual in Europe because, you know, Nicolina and Porzingis, they started playing in their teenage years. But they didn't play every day. But they wasn't going to the NBA. A lot of people like use Brandon Gibbons. Brandon Gibbons went over there. He would have been a freshman. His body was more mature than the younger ball. So he was able to play more time and get more experience. LaMelo is not going to get any experience playing in the NBA. I mean, playing overseas right now. D'Angelo has literally healed. Hold on. Let's stop for a moment. Your son just came from China for what he was just about to spend 10 years over there in one of their prisons. So now you finna take him out of school and send him back to China?
Watch this. I said this a while ago. Troy, I know you got a chance to read the article, Marlo. I have to make sure you get the link to it. I wrote an article several months ago. If you Google me, one of the things that comes up is the article that I wrote about LaVar Ball being an unapologetic asshole. And Troy, we touched on this last week when we talked about the similarities between how LaVar Ball conducts himself and how our current president conducts himself. They're both assholes. You either like them or you don't. The problem is when you like them, you tend to make excuses for them. And when I looked at how LaVar Ball carried himself prior to launching the whole Zoe shoe product, the way he talked about the coach at Chino Hills, the way he talked about how UCLA ran their program, the way he talked about how it was the slow white players on the team that cost them an opportunity to win a national championship. Nobody zeroed in on this.
How he pulled kids off the floor because he didn't get a call from a referee.
Right, but watch this, Marlo. So many people were quick to not even acknowledge that. They heralded him as a great father. And not, like I said, you know, he's not a bad father. I'm gonna say that he's not a bad father, but he could definitely do better by his kids. But nobody wanted to look at those character flaws within him. The same character flaws that exist within our current president. This very same character flaws. And so you were either pro Alonzo, you were either pro Lavar or you know, con Lavar, against Lavar, anti Lavar. But Lavar has nothing to do with his son, at least not directly. So we find ourselves in this particular situation. Trump says he helped him get him out. He helped get your son free. You say no, he didn't. Doesn't matter. Take the high road. UCLA puts a punishment down on your son, which they should. Indefinite suspension. We don't know. Could have been a quarter of the season. Could have been half the season. You disagree with that? He's not doing what a father should do, in my opinion, for his sons. Something that every father needs to instill in their son. You're not making your sons tough. You're enabling your sons.
And you're not holding your son accountable.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's why.
They said he did.
Right. But that's why Alonzo is able to go out there and get punked by somebody smaller than him by the Houston Rockets. I can't remember the guard's name right now. But that's how your son is able to go out there and get punked. Huh? What y'all say?
So,
but yeah.
So this week, you know, I like to make my rounds on the talk shows. Sometimes it pisses me off. Like I have to take a break from ESPN because of Will Smith and all of that. And I am, because at my sports is a article aggregation, and we give fans articles so they can read. You know, we don't give them the full article, we give them little short little summaries, and then they can go to the link. Well, I'll get interactions from Twitter people on different things, and when the first Lavar Ball thing was going on and it became a huge thing, people were like, oh, he's such a great dad, and blah, blah, blah. He's a good dad. But if you think he's a great dad, you need better fucking standards. Use my language, so that's just the truth. And then I saw on, not first thing, first, I saw on Undefeated with his
Undisputed. Undisputed.
Yeah, Undefeated. And so,
Undisputed, you didn't go.
On there, and Isaiah Thomas. Yeah, Isaiah Thomas was talking about, well, you know, LeBron Ball isn't unique. It's only because we're in that time of social media that we see how big a LeBron Ball thing could be. And Isaiah Thomas said, my mama used to show up at the Palace lit with her own chicken, not chicken from the stadium. She done cooked chicken at home and then brought it to the stadium. And she talking about players, and players asking Isaiah Thomas, hey, can you do something about your mama? Isaiah Thomas like, what can I do with her? I can't say that to her. And this is my favorite part. She is at the Palace taking heat. That was my favorite part. But the moral of the story here is that you may have parents that are out of control. They knew their boundaries. They literally know, hey, you know what? I'm not going to bother with Chuck Daly. I know Chuck Daly's doing the best he can. We in the NBA. We here now. I'm finna enjoy this moment. Not be the moment. LeVar Ball has taken, I'm finna enjoy this moment too. I am now this moment. Marlo, you touched on it. The boys they don't have to be personally responsible for any of their actions. Well, guess what? Neither is LeVar Ball, because we're not making him responsible for his stale product launch. There are people who ordered shoe X and are getting shoe Y. And we're still not saying much about that. If it was, let's say it was Ja Rule and it was a nice rich getaway in the Caribbean, and it wasn't
I got you right here. I got you right here, and I'm finna summarize it real quick for y'all. And I'm so ashamed to say it. Just Hilarious actually did a skit on this about a month and a half ago. LeVar Ball is running his business stereotypically the way black people run businesses. And I don't even like the fact that I said it. You come out with a shoe. You don't have said shoes in order, so you take advance orders. You don't have said shoe in stock, so you take advance orders. Then when you take advance orders, you have people that pay for them. But the thing that you're going to say, you're going to send to them is a product different from that which they purchased. My. And then tell them, hey, if you want a refund, you can get a refund back. Why couldn't the first shoe be the first shoe that was available and the second shoe that was available be the second shoe that was available? Y'all know I ain't lying. Y'all can be mad. People can be mad at me all they want to. He did. Yep. I'm ashamed to say it, but yep, that's exactly what that is. So we don't go in the hood and see stores that operate like that.
No.
I'm talking about.
But my biggest, I won't even say problems because they don't even affect my world. They reflect a bad image in society, but they don't have any effect on my business. But as a parent, your number one goal is to first protect and provide for your family. Protect and provide. There's nothing that he's doing. His actions now are not protecting for his son's future.
But let's be.
There's his fight with Donald Trump, his pulling them out of school, and even if you keep them in school for them to get an education, if you keep them in school, it ain't like they were taking their scholarship money. Not that they really need it.
Right.
But it ain't like they took their scholarship money. You stay in school because that was your commitment, and you're gonna honor your commitment until you can do otherwise.
Right. But now,
that's my biggest problem with that whole situation.
Watch this.
That he has no accountability for the son. And then when the son got home, he tried to put it all on another player on the team when he was the one who initiated because his car didn't work.
Exactly. Watch this. And I know we probably going over time on this segment here, but watch this for a second. He had the world literally by the throat. That coming out with his own shoe, that was a boss move. And I was like, wow, I was like, bro, do your thing. That was a boss move. Even his son showing up in summer camp wearing other shoes was to me a boss move. But then your son shows up in game one.
Great market.
Right, great. Listen. I was like, okay, I see you. I see what you're doing. But then for your son to get, and you know he's a rookie, so you don't expect so much. But you hate to see a rookie for the most part get bullied, get cowarded or whatever. And you saw that I was really disappointed in that matchup against the Rockets. I'm like, you're literally allowing this dude to bully you on the basketball court. And while I ain't looking for you to be as savvy as him or, you know, put up as many points as him, I'm looking for you to show me you're not going to back down from him. So we didn't get that. Then you have your son who goes overseas and steals some stuff. Well, let me draw a comparison real quick. Keyshawn Johnson, his son was a freshman at Nebraska, wide receiver. His son got busted for weed. Keyshawn snatched his son out of school and said, "Nah, until you get your mind right, you ain't going nowhere." He ain't trying to go get him a deal in the Canadian Football League. He ain't trying, put him at, some professional flag football league that they trying to start. No, you need to get your mind right because you're not finna embarrass me like that. You're not finna do that. But you got LeVar Ball His son comes back from Japan. I don't know who's talking to him. I really want it. See, this ain't Lavar. This ain't Lavar Ball in the house by himself. Lavar is married. His wife is home. Trying to figure out how much input she has on all this. But I'm like, you got to know the history of China. Know your son was supposed to be locked up for some years, not for some days, for some years. Then when he come back, you're not even understanding how the program's supposed to go. UCLA can't put your son back on the basketball court because the NCAA looking at them.
They already got damn agents.
Right. So we got to make sure before we put your son on the basketball court, we straight and your son straight. No, none of that even matters. My son too good for this. In essence, what LeVar Ball has been saying since day one, when we chose to give him a pass, is it's not that his sons are better than this. He's better than this. He's bigger than this. And this is why he feels like he can do whatever it is he wants to do. My problem with it is that at the end of the day, when it's all said and done, his bad decisions are going to have a negative impact on all three of his sons. When this could have actually been a fairy tale story, a story with a fairy tale ending, he's getting ready to turn this into a horror story. Matter of fact, I'm wrong. He already has turned this into a horror story.
Yeah. We're gonna move along, and we're gonna talk about our favorite Miami Latino player.
Woo! Yankees! Go Yankees, baby! How about them Yankees? How about them Yankees? Y'all see us? We doing big things, baby. We doing big things. Woo!
He is currently wearing a Yankees hat.
We doing big things, baby. We doing big things up in New York. Y'all don't see it. Doing big things. Georgia Bulldogs, Pittsburgh Steelers, New York Yankees, Pittsburgh Penguins, New York Islanders, New York Rangers. I don't really get down with professional basketball like that. But y'all see the Yankees, baby. Y'all see the Yankees. Mike, you the reason why I don't deal with professional basketball. Ever since you left the Bulls, I ain't really been down with basketball like that. So that's what that is.
I'm gonna let Theo get down with his diatribe. So, for those who don't know, I'm going to call him Giancarlo Stanton, had a no-trade clause. So when their Jeter came in with his regime, he was like, yeah, I'm going to trade you wherever I want you to. Stan was like, yeah, I got this no-trade clause. If it ain't where I want to go, it ain't happening. So Stan gave them a list of teams. Stan is on $295 million. So three of them teams, like, for the next 10 years, three of them teams, like, yeah, by the way, this is guaranteed money.
Can I call a time? Can I call a 30-second timeout real quick, Troy? You know, this seems, when...
You want to celebrate something?
No. This just seems awfully similar to when Jerry West from the Lakers orchestrated the deal to get Paul Gasol.
I was going to get to that.
So, Derek, you helping out your old ball club, bro? Appreciate you, bro.
So, alright.
Woo!
So, Dan was like, this is my team. The only team that has the money to give Stanton what he wants and absorb that luxury taxes is New York Yankees. So, in this lineup, the Poppy and Holly Question would like to call him the Whipper. This dude could be paired with Judge. And you probably could see two players have 500 strikeouts in the season and have 50 home runs apiece. I just envy everybody to take that all in. So, we have that possibility.
World Series bound, baby.
I was going to bring up the whole Jerry West thing, but for those who don't follow history, Jerry West, the logo, made that trade. In that trade, it took some time for that trade to come to fruition, but Memphis has a franchise player who just got his head coach spot.
So it wasn't a total homer trade, but it did give the Lakers a championship. I'm just gonna say.
Yeah.
So with that lineup and that pitching staff, who are the East gonna beat the Yankees? Who?
The Devil Rays and their division.
Wait a minute.
And that's right, I said the Devil Rays.
God bless you, Dad. I know you love the Rays. I know you love them.
He don't have no choice, man.
The cowboy movie, you shot them with a real gun.
That's all right. I got about the Rays farm system out there.
You know what, Marlo?
As soon as they become eligible to be good players, you get rid of them.
Marlo, I'm gonna give you credit. Marlo, no, Troy, you being too hard on Marlo. Marlo loves Tampa Bay area teams. I ain't mad at that. I can respect that all day long, man. You know, you got the Tampa Bay Lightning.
I love the Lightning. I love the Lightning, but
yeah. I'm just saying. No, what I'm saying is that regardless of how can I put this? Regardless of how ridiculous his expectation levels are for his ball clubs, his teams, you just got to admire that type of loyalty. I mean, he's not a realist in any sense of the word when it comes to either of the teams down in Tampa, but you got to admire the passion that he has. You know what I'm saying? We know the Rays are going.
When the Yankees come and play the Rays, who has a better winning percentage in them games?
I don't know. I know who got the most World Series rings. I don't get caught up in all that other stuff.
Well, they've been around by what? 80 years longer than we have.
See, the thing is what you.
If the NBA regular season don't matter, if the NBA regular season don't matter, baseball regular season.
See. Yeah, because look, do you want to win the battle or do you want to win the war? The championship is the war, baby. You gotta want to win the war, baby. You can't be happy with battles. You can't be happy. Go on, so move to the next topic, man. Go.
Y'all been playing in New York since the 80s.
Hey man, go on. Hey man, we done won most World Series since y'all been in the league.
Being in the 80s.
Hey man, come on, Troy. Next topic, man. Next topic.
All right, so the next topic is, they're gonna crown a Heisman Trophy winner, and I just go ahead and be honest. I'm disappointed in the finalists, but it's been a disappointing college season. I mean, let's just go ahead and call it say the top teams get knocked off, and I mean, nobody can actually put their foot down and say, I am this. So the finalists are Baker Mayfield, who I think, I've been quite honest, I don't want to bash him. I just think that he's been a black player. With that video out there, he would have never been a Heisman finalist. Of course, Lamar Jackson, who we really need to take a look at this dude. Like, ESPN made me look at tape of him when they decided this morning they were going to say, well, what other position can you play in the NFL? Quarterback. And that should be his own end. But I looked at his tape. He is doing stuff that he wasn't doing last year. This year, he's scrambling to a space where he can reset his feet and deliver the ball downfield. He has stopped putting himself in harm's way. Very, very good. Because last year, he had that, I'm afraid, that's what it was. He had that common phrase as to, like, I can get 30 yards downfield. And I can lower my shoulder and run the people over. And he was doing it. This year, he's like, these plays are made to pass the game, and he has been dropping down. So we got to give credit to him. Over the last 2 years, he's thrown for 7,034 yards and rushed for 3,014 yards. So how he's not even mentioned as the leading candidate, I don't know. And then there's White Glove, who this dude should not be on the stage. He's not even the best running back in his region. He should not be on the stage. There's a reason why Saquon Barkley is not a finalist. There's a reason why you got a bunch of running backs out there that are not finalists. There is a running back that is at San Diego State. Forget that he's not running against anybody. Let's talk about what he did against Bryce Love. He put a $180 on Stanton. Bryce Love didn't do that. Bryce Love just had to sit there and watch his arm. Granted, I think he hurt him, if I'm not mistaken. But he should not be on the stage. It's a two-pony show. Baker Mayfield's probably going to win it. With a team that can't play defense, this is a disappointing.
Well, I think when we talked about this last week, one of the things that I told you is we talked about the young man from San Diego State as well. Who we getting mad at? You haven't heard from his coach. You haven't even heard from the player. You haven't heard from any media out there. You haven't heard from the conference. You haven't heard from anyone aside from yourself who believes that this young man should be a Heisman Trophy candidate. Now, I'm not saying that he shouldn't be a Heisman Trophy candidate, but that push comes from someone within the university first. You know, I can sit back and say, well, doggone, when was the last time we seen somebody from the University of Georgia be a Heisman Trophy candidate? It ain't like we know as Tailback University. But at the end of the day, if your school doesn't push for that, it is what it is. You know, we know, Oklahoma has pitched for Baker Mayfield to be a Heisman Trophy candidate since day one. So, I mean, you got to look at where you're going to put the onus of responsibility at. We're getting ready to have a Heisman Trophy show featuring people kind of like, the best way I want to look at it is this. The reason why the Philadelphia Eagles are as successful as they are in the NFC is because there's a lack of talent in the NFC. It's not like the Philadelphia Eagles are world beaters. So you're looking at the same thing when you look at this year's Heisman Trophy candidate field. It's not that Baker Mayfield is necessarily the best product out there. We just don't have anyone else better. Or at the very least, we're not acknowledging anybody else better.
And I don't even think it's to the point of finding somebody better. There isn't anybody that jumps off the page. Like the kid from Penn State, had he not digressed in the latter game, he would have ran away with it. But
we say that, but how many games? How many games has Oklahoma lost?
They lost one.
Yeah, they lost one game to Ohio State.
How Baker Mayfield do in that game against Ohio State?
No, he had a fabulous game against Ohio State. I agree that Ohio State game put him in a position to win the Heisman Trophy because they put him directly behind Barkley after that Ohio State game. Now, when Ohio State came back to beat Penn State, that ended any chance Barkley had of being a Heisman Trophy. Because everybody has, going into the season, there are 2 teams, 3 teams, everybody says the same thing about them. They're overhyped and we don't believe they're going to make it all the way to the end of the season. Penn State, Wisconsin, and Notre Dame. Them just teams that you know, and year in and year out, no matter how much hype you can put them at number one, at the end of the day, they're not going to be able to cross the finish line. And that's what happened with Penn State. I don't know if it's the coach of Penn State, I don't, but there was a point in our Ohio State game that Barkley was just a decoy. Like, he literally just stopped running the ball. And that changed the place in the game. But, unless anybody else got anything else to say about it, I'll go ahead and move on to the next topic.
But I can say this. Baker Mayfield, they're not going to get him the Heisman. He got awarded up over in Atlanta, winning a bunch of awards. They're not going to get him the Heisman.
Oh, I don't know. No.
Bro.
Nah, he'll get it. He'll get it.
It's something about the atmosphere. Everybody trying to crown him before before they actually vote for it. Ain't gonna happen.
He gonna get it the same way. He gonna get it the same way Johnny Manziel got it, the same way Jameis Winston got it. He gonna get it.
Yeah, and I think one of the main reasons is the comparison, as if he was a black player doing all his antics that he does on the field and running from the police on video and all this other stuff. If he was a black player, he wouldn't even be in New York.
I don't know if that's necessarily fair. And for me to acknowledge that as being fair, let me ask Troy. When Jameis Winston had his allegations against him, wasn't that before he won the Heisman Trophy?
The talking about the crab leg issue.
The crab leg.
The girl.
Yeah.
No, that was after he won the Heisman.
That was after he won the Heisman. What about it?
Even then, they ruled in that case, but before they even came down to the vote, they had ruled that he was not liable, or they weren't going to press any charges because they didn't have any evidence. Okay, hold on. They didn't press any charges because they didn't have any evidence. Were there any charges pressed against Baker Mayfield? We know he's running from the police, but were there any charges? No, but he was charged.
He was charged.
He was charged.
Okay, now let me ask a question, because I just want to I like to make sure we're fair to the young men that we're speaking about here. When this happened with Baker Mayfield, how old was he?
He was at Oklahoma.
Right, but I know that. But how old was he?
Like probably 1920.
1920. Okay, what's the crime? What did he do for him to be running from the police? Like, what did he do?
Hold on. I believe it wasn't a DUI. I think it may have been a DUI.
DUI. Okay, hold on. Let's say it's a DUI. He's running from the police. 18, 19 years old and everything like that. Did he get punished in any shape, form, or fashion by the university that we know of?
Well, he pled. Hold on. He pled guilty to 3 charges. Wait a minute. February. Hold on.
I'm telling you, it wasn't that long ago.
Right, but I guess what
this year, dude, February 25th, he pled guilty to 3 charges from the arrest.
And they were all public intoxication.
Yeah, public intoxication, disorderly conduct, fleeing, and resisting arrest. If he was black, he'd be dead.
But hold on, okay, watch this. And this is where I'm finna go with this. Because we need to understand that there's power in the word and that we are part of the media. And when I say we, African Americans are part of the media. So we know all this takes place in February, correct? Yes. So we allow Oklahoma to build him up as a Heisman Trophy candidate. Now watch where I say the media and African American writers and sports columnists and things of that nature. Every time somebody talked about Johnny Manziel, they could have done the same thing that was being done to everybody else. A question could have been on the table. I don't recall anybody, aside from Troy, you were alluding to it, Marlo speaking on it, anybody, ESPN, Fox Sports, First Take, First Things First, Undisputed, no part in the I have not heard anybody ever mention the fact that Baker Mayfield had off the field issues. Why is this important? Because when we ask the question as to why, matter of fact, I'm gonna even say Sports Center to 6. Not heard that Baker Mayfield had off field issues. Why is that on us and not on Baker Mayfield? Because we didn't do our due diligence as reporters, news analysts. Nobody ever asked a tough question. So now we have the audacity to be upset, bothered at the 12th hour that this young man could win a Heisman. Why didn't we ask these tough questions? No, I'm not saying you.
I've been saying that the whole time.
I'm not saying you, Marlo, specifically. I'm saying the media in general. Why didn't we ask these questions? Why didn't we have the news conference? Go ahead.
Well, I can't complain. They made a business decision. So
hold on. So no no reporter, no African American reporter said, "Wait a minute, let me ask these tough questions. Why are we so high strong on Baker Mayfield? Why are we so high on Baker Mayfield? These charges just hit court this year. We're not talking something that happened 2 years ago. We talking about something that happened this year. Like, dude ain't finna be suspended or nothing like that. He ain't finna get punished or nothing like that. Because I think if there was some type of punishment from the school, from the university, from the NCAA, we might be feeling better about this Heisman Trophy campaign right now.
There was none. There wasn't any punishment from the school.
Right. So that's why I hold us responsible. Nobody asked those tough questions during the course of the year. Sure, we're asking them here on Fat Mouth Sports, but why haven't they been discussed on Pardon the Interruption? Why haven't they been discussed on First Things First? Like we did with the Johnny Manziels, like we did with the Jameis Winstons, or like we did with the Mixon. Why aren't we talking about these issues? We let them go.
Because the powers that be, and I'm saying this as a CEO, the powers that be, oh God, I don't want to say I'm out, but if Fox Sports or if the Big 12 came in and said, Troy, we want to broadcast 10 games on your network every year, I'm going to have to make a business decision when it comes to the editorial room and say, okay, there is this arrest. We are trying to get this contract. I, as management, have to make one or two decisions. Do I do what's in the best interest of the company? Because putting the Big 12 in a bad light could make me lose a contract? Or do I do what's in the best interest of news? Because there are no more independent newsrooms anymore. Not CNN, not ESPN, not Fox, none of them. Not even Time. Time is being owned. Time is going to be owned by the Koch brothers. So there are no more independent newsrooms.
So you're saying all the news outlets, like I just want to make sure I'm grasping this one. You're saying all the news outlets, all the sports news outlets, and there's quite a few of them out there. You saying that they all got together and were told, and they all agreed that we're not going to speak on Baker Mayfield's issues with the law. Well, I mean, that's I'm not, well, even if you're not saying it, even if that's not what you're saying, though, Troy, that is what it is, because when I just asked the question earlier, and I'm totally on your side on this one, but when I asked the question earlier, why didn't we hear about it? Marlo came in and said, well, I've been saying something about it. Well, the thing was, nobody else did. As much as we watched the sports shows and everything like that, none of us heard about them saying anything about Baker Mayfield and his legality issue. None of us. And here it is, we ain't heard about it this week. And you know this week is when they usually try and pull all types of stuff out your closet, all types of skeletons. We ain't heard about it this week. So it's one of them things where I have to sit back and I have to say, man, dang, man, if this is where we at, then the journalists, the sports reporters, we failed. Because this should have been something running not only on Fat Mouth Sports, but Bleacher Report, like everything. Like, this dude should have had to do some community service and everything like that. You running from the law enforcement, you should be doing partnership programs with law enforcement and everything like that. You DUI, oh, you should be having to do all kind of substance abuse program. Nobody said a word.
And this is my problem I have with a lot of the mainstream media, because the kid last year who went in the draft, who assaulted the girl. So, and no, I'm not saying the two crimes are the same, but he chose to stay at the school and was an advocate for violence against women. He even spoke at rallies that she had at other universities to try to make right the wrong he did to this young lady.
Right.
The media still try to dig him as this bad individual. Even when Johnny Manziel came out of school, everyone knew Johnny Manziel was this party animal. Even at Texas A&M, everybody knew it.
Right.
But none of that came out. None of that came out when he was in the draft. And every year you look at these kids that get dinged or make a bad mistake, and they aren't that. They're kids. You know, if you haven't reached the level of maturity of independence to where all the decisions you make are done in a light to where you are the sole responsible person for it, you're still a kid. And this is my problem with these media outlets, because they cherry pick the stories that they think they're going to get the biggest response from. Like, what news organization think they're going to get a big, oh yeah, man, that's a good point that you made. Yeah, oh yeah, he was arrested for fleeing from the police and public intoxication and disorderly conduct. But you know, he's still a good kid. He didn't even hear that story. All you heard was, yeah, he's a great leader on the field, and yeah, he had some on the field antics. They didn't talk nothing about his off the field antics. Nothing. They might have mentioned it in passing. Not only does he have these other situations and issues, but he's 5'11", so he's shorter than a normal quarterback. He might be able to process the college offense, but in the pros, where you have bigger, faster, stronger, and smarter on the other side of the ball trying to kill you, and you already undersized, they need to start talking about this. And that it's crazy to me that you can go an entire college football season and this hasn't been a major story yet.
Well, it is now. I mean, well, I'm pretty sure about a time it ain't. Well, you know what? I can't even say. Well, hey, it's gonna be a story, because I'm pretty sure we're shedding light on something that not too many people were aware of.
And I hope he gets it. I hope he gets it together. That's my only hope for every young man trying to do better for themselves and their family. Is if you make a mistake, learn from it, grow from it, try not to ever make that same mistake again, and do better for your community. That's all I want for these kids. But don't sit there and go week in and week out with on the field antics and basically taunting your opponent after a win, or acting like the world already owed you whatever you get.
We got to keep that one. We got to keep that one in perspective, Marlo. Marlo, we got to keep that one in perspective. I agree with everything you said up until the point about showing your opponents respect and everything like that. I don't know what was said during the Ohio State game, but I have seen it where after a big win against somebody not from your conference, where this could be for all the marbles, people get excited, they tear down goal posts and everything like that, they plant flags on the field, or they take a knee on the field, and like I said, you never know what the Ohio State players saying about that. But then if we're talking about him grabbing his crotch at the Kansas game and shooting the bird, I said it once, I'll say it again, and I will defend this young man until the cows come home. He went out there doing the initial coin toss, and he extended his hand in sportsmanship. There were two young kids dressed with Kansas University jerseys on, standing there to witness this. It was 3 or 4 Kansas Jayhawks out there. Neither one of them acknowledged him extending his hand. So we talk about bad sportsmanship. Which one are we talking? Because I look at life like this. You have a response, but I'm saying you have something that initiates something, and you have a response. But what we do so often in society is we want to draw reference to the response. No, look at what caused this to take place. Look at what caused this to take place. I am Baker Mayfield. To a degree, I'm bigger than everybody on the Kansas Jayhawks team, but I ain't acting like that. You're a captain, I'm a captain. We extend these hands out here, shake hands. We're going to do what we do on the field, and hopefully at the end of the game, nobody gets hurt. They said, no, F you. We ain't doing that. And so what he said was, okay, bet. I ain't finna ask for no quarter, and I ain't finna give none.
No, this is. I'm bringing this straight home because we can go a while on this topic. I'm just gonna say this: on both sides, the university decided that both sides were wrong and both sides were punished in different fashions. I'm gonna bring this train to a halt because we can go further on that. I just sent you guys an article about Bruce Pearl. I forgot to put this in the rundown, but I think as we're talking about media responsibility, it's important. Beginning of basically the college football season, there was a big thing that happened in the NCAA basketball with the indictment of coaches, with the Adidas paper play, I'm going to call it paper play scandal. And it should still be, we should still be hearing about it. But we're not. And like I said before, there's no independent media, there's different reasons why we don't hear about it. However, there's something very special going on down in Auburn, Alabama. Because of all the people that got swept up, and we heard about Rick Pitino and he lost his job. Remember, Rick Pitino lost his job. He took a life thing. He still lost his job. Bruce Pearl at Auburn in November said, I ain't answering none of the university's independent investigation questions. And that's what I said. He didn't do it once. He did it twice. And the rest of us, at the same time, was like, you need to cooperate with us, so we're going to make some decisions. It is now December 9th. We ain't heard about no investigator going back to talk to Bruce Pearl. However, during the investigation, I found out that two of the players involved in the scandal, who they were before they were named. And I wrestled with the fact, should I name them or should I not name them? And I'm glad that it took me so long to wrestle with that because I didn't have to either one to name. The names ended up coming out. Well, these two players have been sidelined indefinitely until they figure out the extent of the corruption because Chuck First, one of my all-time favorite shooters, is wrapped up there. So, right now, while we're talking about Johnny Manziel, why nobody's covering this, over here behind closed doors, there's another huge elephant in the back room that we're not talking about. We're not talking about Auburn is not cleaning up house. They not. They got this dude there that's telling you, I'm figuring in your university, your basketball program is trash. I'm going to do what I want to do. The only thing I can't do is get these players on the court, but he's working, he's trying hard to get the players on the court. The reason that I think it's an issue is because of us.
It's not that. Let me tell you the biggest problem nowadays with this money in college sports. The only reason why they are giving the money that they're giving to these schools and to these coaches, not the players, because even if a kid get $100,000, the school that made 100 times it. So this is my problem. These kids are going to these schools with promises of getting to the next level. It ain't never about education. If you look at the schools that they're going to, because most of these dudes end up majoring in sports education or sports science or something with media or something that they didn't even want to major in. And they go there and they get sucked in and they get caught up. And now they get spoiled. Because if you look at these big programs, these big basketball programs got private jets. They can fly these athletes around the country. They going to China. They going overseas. They play exhibition games. They're doing all this. And at the same time, they're being given all the gear that they need, all the this and all of that. They get a per diem. They get all this other stuff. And then it comes down to where's your degree, or you ain't gonna make it on the next level. Now what you got to fall back on, that's okay, we don't care about you going to the next. And the cycle just keeps getting repeated. It just keeps getting repeated. And now you throw these doggone shoe companies in the mix. Well, hell, you might lose eligibility if you get caught, but here's $150,000 for your troubles. And as a kid who grew up not having nothing, in the majority of these cases, that's not even that ain't a question if they're gonna take the money. Because 9 times out of 10 they are.
Well, I think we all know that.
Not for them.
I think we all know that the college program, as it stands right now, when it deals and how it deals with student athletes, is not fair to the student athlete. I think this is something that's been debated. Well, I know it has been debated amongst other analysts and former coaches, you know, athletic directors and things of that nature, is that they don't know where it starts and where it ends. And, you know, it's unfortunate because we know the program, the schools are making a large money off of these kids' backs, and they're not financially reciprocating these kids. And I think it's one of those things where even when we talk about minimum wage, people are so afraid of losing money, they don't want to share the money. And it's not, no one is saying that you have to give X amount of dollars to the student. I mean, dadgum, we could always make it based on how much money your university is generating based on the football program or the baseball program, the basketball program. Just because a kid gets $1,000 for playing at Alabama every game doesn't mean that the kid that's playing at Florida International gets paid $1,000. No, you got to look at how much money the school is generating based on the sports. But I mean, then you looking at somebody saying, well, I ain't getting enough money. Coaches, trainers, and things of that nature. Everybody wants their hand in the pot, but nobody wants to share. So that's basically what we're looking at. We got anything else today, fellas?
We're going to run through a couple quick topics. University of Oregon has replaced their healthcare coach with former co-offensive coordinator Mario Cristobal. I believe he's from the University of Miami originally. 47 years old, becomes Oregon's 34th head coach. This is important because they're trying to salvage their recruiting class, and he's going to be a great recruiter. So we'll see what's going on there. Rankings on recruiting. So because of the late coaching moves between Jimbo Fisher and Jimbo Fisher taking the A&M and Willie Taggart to Florida State, there's been a lot of decommits and commits. I'm just going to put everybody on notice that you need to pay attention to not the early signing classes, because I think a lot of students are going to be waiting. Based on the stuff I'm seeing on Twitter, I think a lot of kids are going to bypass the early commitment phase, and they're going to continue their recruitment process into the first part of the year. And you're going to see the same. I think Florida State and Miami are going to end up getting the lion's share of the late commit. But that's still to be seen. There's a lot of stuff going on. Anything else you guys want to add, Marlo, Theo?
Nope, that's about it.
No, I think we covered a good deal of stuff. But you know, every day is a new story. So we definitely have more stuff to talk about. We can talk about the results of this Heisman race after they happen, and I can say I told y'all so. Maybe we'll do a call later on tonight.